Well, you may have heard of Vatican City. Have you ever wondered how its economy functions? Well, I certainly have. When you visit the Vatican, there are all these very impressive looking buildings that surely take a lot of money to maintain. So where do they get this money from? Well, it's not some sort of secret wizard people shadow government funneling money to the Pope, like some people would have you believe. Probably. The economy of Vatican City is, like the Catholic Church itself, quite complex. But, unlike the Church, the country's economy is quite small, with a GDP of less than 20 million, and a population of only 764. But the city-state spends more than $300 million each year and takes in hundreds of millions in revenue. So is there really something nefarious going on? No, probably. I mean, I can't prove there isn't, but Vatican City is located in the heart of Rome, and so spends most of its money on goods and services in Rome. All of its citizens are religious personnel like cardinals, nuns, and bishops, so to maintain their many buildings, they have to hire outside labor. So much so that these outside workers actually outnumber the population of the city. Only 764 people live in Vatican City compared to its total employment of 4,618. This explains the discrepancy between their income and GDP, but where do they get the money to pay not only their priests, but other employees? Well, one way the Vatican gets money is Peter's Pence, where Catholics from all over the world donate money to the Pope. While the individual amount is rather small in most cases, there are a lot of Catholics. Over 1.3 billion Catholics all over the globe, and enough donate to make the papacy over $100 million a year. However, most of this money is spent to help local churches in different regions of the world. Another major facet of the Vatican economy is tourism. Vatican City receives over 6.7 million tourists each year, visiting sites like the Vatican Museums, Sistine Chapel, and St. Peter's Basilica, all the while purchasing souvenirs and paying admission fees. While revenue from tourism is hard to quantify, tourists likely spend as much as $200 million a year in the Holy City. In addition to tourism, the Vatican also has a lot of investments in industries like banking, chemicals, and construction. Most of these investments are in Italian companies such as, and I'm definitely going to butcher this pronunciation, Associazioni Generali. But they have investments all over the world, investing in companies such as General Motors in the United States and Shell Oil in the UK. And what about the papacy's famous love for gold? Well, their stockpile seems to have dwindled in recent years, as gold reserves have dipped to 20 million in favor of real estate. The Vatican has a vast real estate empire, because, as it turns out, it's more profitable to rent out buildings than to store a bunch of shiny rocks in a vault. The Vatican's total investments are estimated at $10 billion, and generate roughly $50 million a year in profits. Another, more controversial sector of their finances is the Vatican Bank. Officially called the Institute for the Works of Religion, or IOR, the bank manages more than $2 billion in assets and makes the papacy over $30 million a year. But it's highly controversial due to the many scandals the bank has been involved in, such as money laundering, embezzlement, and fraudulent bankruptcy. The IOR is also the source for many of the conspiracies related to the Vatican, which we won't get into for, well, my own safety. Moving on, these are the main ways the Vatican makes money. There are many other minor industries in the city, such as producing mosaics, basically fancy-looking tiles, uniforms, and coin minting. In fact, despite not being a part of the European Union, the Vatican is allowed to mint euro coins due to an agreement, and the euro is the official currency of the city-state. And having the euro as their currency helps when dealing with Italian businesses, which is vital to the small city-state as it needs to import nearly all of the food it needs from Italy, since, well, there's not exactly an abundance of farmland in their 1/5 of a square mile. And it's not just food, almost everything has to be imported. Fuel, clothing, and even water, which Italy provides to them for free. Guess they can add that to the list of benefits of being Pope. The water bill, right next to leading one of the world's largest religions, covering up scandals, and getting that sweet tax money from Vatican City. Well, about that, there aren't any taxes in Vatican City. No income, corporate, or sales tax, which is quite unusual. In fact, Vatican City is the only country in Europe without taxes of any kind. Even the tax haven Monaco has a sales tax. Because it's really quite hard to run a city without any taxes. There are many expenses in running a city inside a city. The papacy not only has to pay for staff, upkeep, and imports, but also help the many churches that serve the world's Catholic population. This part alone costs the Vatican over $100 million a year. In fact, even with all the money they make, they still spend more than they bring in. This deficit varies throughout the years, but in 2023, they had a deficit of almost $100 million, which is up from a deficit of only $30 million 2 years prior. The papacy has realized the danger this deficit poses to the city, and has taken action to reduce it by cutting cardinal salaries and budget cuts, as well as increasing fundraising efforts. However, more could be done to decrease the deficit, such as investing money in less conservative, slow-growing industries and increasing prices for tourists. Hopefully, whatever course of action the city-state makes will be enough to save the Vatican's odd little economy.